Hello everybody and welcome again to this second part of our Kickstarter number 54 update. In this part of the update I'm going to show you some of the changes that we've been doing to Divinity Original Sin and what you can expect from today's build, which is now live on Steam Early Access. So the first thing you'll notice as you go through the character creation screen, which is still a placeholder of course, is that you're going to have access to a couple of new profiles. So we've added a rogue, we've added a knight, and we've added a cleric profile. Now mind you, these are just starting profiles. Obviously the game remains classless, so you can build your character in any way you see fit. But depending on the choices you make here, you're going to have access to different types of starting skills. Pay close attention because you'll notice that some of the skills you may be familiar with have changed, and that some new skills may have been added. For instance, you'll notice that the ranger or survivor, as we call it now, has a tactical retreat skill, which is quite handy to have. Alright, so I'm going to play actually with the survivor, and I'm going to pick as a second character a knight. Okay, now the presets that have been set up actually also indicate a little bit how you're expected to play if you want to stick in that character class, but as I said, you can change at any time in your gameplay session, I guess. Alright, so when you start up, one of the first things you're going to notice also is that we have this little diamond here. When you click on it, this shows your connectivity status. So default, you're going to be set on I don't want to play with anybody else, so you're playing in single player. But in Original Sin, you can at any time during your single player campaign decide to have a friend join you and to play cooperatively with. So if you want to do that, you can have three options. You can click on the Everybody button. In that case, anybody can join. So anybody who sees you play can just click on I want to join, and you will be playing with a stranger. Otherwise, you can just say I only want to play with my friends, or you can say, well, I'll do it by invitation only. If you want to invite somebody, press the escape button and then just click on invite player. Then your friends list in Steam will pop up and you can just click on somebody and ask them to join you. Okay, so one of the other major changes has been done to Original Sin is we've done a lot of things to the stat system. As mentioned already in previous updates, we are constantly tweaking the rule system that is powering the RPG in Original Sin, and we're also listening a lot to what you've been writing on our forums. So you'll notice quite a few changes. Okay, here are a couple of the most important ones. Intelligence, which is a crucial stat for the wizard, now has an impact on the amount of action points that a skill is going to cost you over time. So the more intelligence you have, the less action points it's going to cost you to cast certain spells. And this is important because the higher level spells cost quite a lot of action points. Additionally, intelligence also has an impact on the output of a spell. So for instance, if you have a flare which does 10 damage, then on higher levels it might do 20 or 30 damage if your intelligence is high, and if you put points in the relevant school, like for instance for a flare that would be Fire Elementalist. These abilities here, like Fire Elementalist and Water Elementalist, also act as requirements now on the learning of certain spells. So a warrior will only be able to learn a high level fire spell if he has sufficient points in Fire Elementalist. Okay. The other big change that you're going to notice are the Way of the Warrior and the Way of the Survivor, or still called Way of the Ranger abilities. So these abilities, the more points you put in there, the more you're going to start acting like a ranger or a warrior. So if I put 1 point in the Way of the Ranger, as is currently the case for Scarlet, I get extra sight. On the next level I will increase my weapon range, and at the final level I will increase my chance to recover items such as my arrows. And that's important because if I have an explosive arrow, which is a rare arrow, then I might get an arrow for free, which is pretty cool. Okay, so that's one of the very important changes. There are more changes to the stat system, but you'll discover them. Pay close attention to the tooltips. I hope they are self-explanatory. Explanatory, did I say explicatory? It's explanatory. Yeah, the other thing that you're going to notice is when you press the load button that your previous save games are incompatible. I apologize for that, but there are points at which that we have to do this because we're making so many changes still to things like the story, the world, and so forth. So I'm going to load my Dada save game here, which I prepared prior to making this video. And it's going to put us at the gate just in front of Seal after the orc fight. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to show you a few more things that we've changed. You will see that at the balancing level there's been a lot of changes. The purpose is that every style of play should be balanced against one another, and we think we've done a better job now than we've done in the past. I hope that you will try playing multiple builds and then give us feedback on that. It's very much appreciated because it's based on that feedback that we're actually doing all of this balancing. And you will see when you enter C.O.R.E, okay, yeah, well, here's another change, for instance, in the UI. If I go into a dialog now, you see the portrait of who's talking to who. And that's important, especially in cooperative dialogues. All right, so I'm just going to take my leave of Arhu. But before I do that, maybe I'll point out for some players who haven't figured this out, because we haven't included a tutorial yet. If you click the trade button, then this is this little button here. Then you have access to the bartering interface, and it's a bartering interface. So it's not just a buy for gold interface. So for instance, if I want to have the Earth Shield scroll, which rocks, it's really cool, Earth Shield, as a matter of fact, I'll try buying it now. I can trade a Fireball scroll and maybe my 2 potions, and that has a value of 76 gold versus a value of 46 gold. So I can press the balance button here, and now we're at 76, and then I press OK. And trade has been successful. This is also, by the way, the interface through which you can ask somebody to repair something for you or to identify, but those 2 abilities are not working yet in this current build. They will be very soon, so don't try them. They're just not going to have any impact, but they will very soon. Okay, so now that I have my Earth Shield, why does Earth Shield rock so much? Well, because it turns me basically into a rock. So let's do it on myself. And it makes me quite powerful. So you will see when people are trying to hit me now, it's not going to be that easy because I think it's like a pool of 50% extra hit points. It acts like a shield. All right, other big change. Well, it's a big change for us because it's we've been joking about it for so long that this was never going to work, is the fact that you can go and sit on benches, and you can sit on chairs and on beds and so forth. And this is pretty cool because you can even sit next to one another and you can have a little chat. Or you can, if you want to annoy somebody, you can just drag away the bench and have the other character fall on his butt. So, there's actual gameplay value in there. If there's characters that are sitting on a chair and you start hitting them, then they will be weaker and they will have a lower initiative, and that will give you the benefit if you want to do a sneak attack on somebody. Also notice what I've just done. I split my 2 characters apart. We've seen that a few people have problems finding how to do that. So basically what you do is you go to the left icons here, you drag a portrait to the right, and then you split up your party. So that means that Scarlet can go now into town on her own, just like you would be doing in cooperative multiplayer. And then at any time you can just jump back to Roderick and have him do something different. And that actually is pretty cool because imagine that, for instance, Roderick here gets into a fight. Let's do that. I'm going to assault Sergeant Curtius here, who's not going to be very happy about it, I imagine. And yeah, okay, so he doesn't have a lot of patience for me. So I'm in a fight now. Roderick is actually dead. Well, Scarlet, she can keep on playing, and she's actually not going to get into a fight with the sergeant because he is not mad at her. So it's something you can take advantage of when playing the game. Save early, save often. The game is not for the meek. It is still challenging, but it's a little bit less challenging because it was a little bit too hard. You'll notice a lot of skills have been balanced, are not so overpowered anymore. You also notice that walking on fire is now punishing, as is walking over poison. So don't try just to go through it. You'll still see some of the exploits because we haven't had time to finish them. And hopefully you're going to notice a lot of stability issues that are solved and a little bit of polish that has been added to the game. Alright, so I'm going to throw this poor man into jail as I progress, and yeah, well, I'll leave it at that, I guess. There's many more changes, but I wanted to highlight the fact that the rule system has changed so much. I also wanted to show you that you can play with friends, and we encourage you to try this out. The cooperative multiplayer is a lot of fun, and we are gathering a lot of data about how people are playing cooperative multiplayer, which will then in turn help us to improve the user interface for this. So for instance, one of the things you can look forward to in one of the next builds is a big chat log, obviously, and also a history of things that have happened, and not only to you but also to the other players, so that you can follow some of his adventures as you are traversing C.O.R.E on your own, perhaps, who knows. Alright, that's it for today. Have fun, and yeah, I look forward to reading what you think of this version on our forums or on the Steam community forums, or indeed on any other forum which we are monitoring. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.